Ever notice how this happens every single day? You wake up, the alarm goes off, and your brain instantly says, just 5 more minutes. And boom, your whole day starts late. Workout skipped, work pushed back, goals postponed again. It's not laziness, it's not a motivation problem. It's your brain hitting the brakes before you even start. And here's the crazy part. There's one simple rule. Just 5 seconds that can literally rewire that habit. And it was created by someone who was so depressed she could barely get out of bed. This is the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. And this book isn't motivation. It's a manual for taking control of your brain. Before this rule became famous, before the books, the talks, the success, Mel Robbins was stuck. Like, really stuck. She wasn't winning at life. She was drowning in debt, unemployed. Her confidence was gone. Her marriage was hanging by a thread. And every morning the same thing happened. The alarm would go off. And she couldn't move. Not because she was lazy, but because she was depressed. Her brain would say, stay in bed. You can't handle today. And most days, she listened. Then one morning, half awake, she saw something on TV, a rocket launch, and the countdown started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And something clicked. She thought, what if I don't wait to feel ready? What if I just move before my brain talks me out of it? So she did something small. She counted backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And she stood up. That moment didn't fix her life, but it saved it, because that was the first time she acted before fear took over. That moment didn't magically fix Mel's life. She didn't suddenly become successful or confident, but something important happened. For the first time, she didn't wait for motivation. She moved before her brain stopped her. And that's where this book really begins. So look, today we're understanding how this rule actually works, because this is not magic. This is brain science mixed with real life. If you really want to understand the 5-second rule, there are 6 core ideas behind it. And once you get these, you'll stop fighting yourself every single day. So let's start with point number 1. And this one is huge. Point 1. Your brain is designed to stop you. Here's something nobody tells you. Your brain is not designed to make you successful. It's designed to keep you comfortable and safe. That's it. Your brain doesn't care about your goals. It doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about the life you want. Its only job is survival. So anytime you try to do something new, wake up early, start working out, post that video, make that phone call, speak up in a meeting. Your brain goes, hold on, this feels uncomfortable. And the moment something feels uncomfortable, your brain hits you with thoughts like, do it later. You're tired. You'll fail. Tomorrow is better. What if it goes wrong? That's not you being weak. That's your brain doing its job. Mel explains this beautifully. The second you hesitate, even for a few seconds, your brain starts building a story. And that story feels logical. It feels real. But it's actually fear in disguise. This is why motivation doesn't work. Because motivation depends on emotion, and your brain controls emotion. So if you wait until you feel like doing something, your brain will always win. That's why people say things like, I know what to do, I just don't do it. It's not lack of knowledge, it's overthinking. Here's the scary part. Research shows you have about 5 seconds between the moment you get an instinct to act and the moment your brain shuts it down. 5 seconds. After that, the excuses take over. That's why Mel says, you are never going to feel ready. Ready is a lie your brain uses to keep you exactly where you are. So, when you understand this, you stop blaming yourself. You realize, oh, my brain is not broken. It's just trying to protect me. And that's where the power comes in, because once you know the problem, you can interrupt it. That's what the 5-second rule does. It doesn't fight your brain. It beats it to the punch. So, let's quickly summarize. First, we understood that Mel Robbins created this rule during the darkest time of her life. Second, we learned that this rule isn't motivation. It's a tool. Third, we understood. Point 1. Your brain is designed to stop you, not support your growth. And this is exactly why you need a simple, physical action that works faster than fear. And that's where the actual rule begins. In the next part, we'll break down how the 5-second rule works and why counting backward can literally change your behavior. Let's continue. Point 2. What the 5-second rule actually is. Now that you understand why your brain stops you, let's talk about what the 5-second rule actually is, because this is where most people misunderstand it. This rule is not a mindset. It's not positive thinking. It's not motivation. It's a physical, mechanical tool designed to interrupt your brain before fear takes control. Here's the rule. In its simplest form, the moment you feel the instinct to act, count backward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. That's it. No thinking, no planning, no emotion check, because the moment you start thinking, your brain has already won. Now let's talk about why counting backward works. Your brain has two main systems running your behavior. One is the habit and fear system, fast, emotional, automatic. This is what tells you to stay comfortable. The other is the decision-making system, slower, logical, intentional. When you hesitate, the habit system takes over. But when you count backward, something interesting happens. Counting forces your brain to shift focus. It pulls attention away from emotion and activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making. In simple terms, you stop reacting and start choosing. That tiny countdown creates a pause, and in that pause, you regain control. Mel explains it like this. When you count backward, you're essentially telling your brain, I'm in charge now. And the rule only works if you move at 1, because movement is the signal. Standing up, opening your laptop, dialing the number, raising your hand. Action shuts down overthinking. Let's make this real. Imagine it's morning. Your alarm goes off. Your brain says, 5 more minutes. That's the instinct moment. If you wait, your brain builds a story. You're tired. You need rest. Tomorrow you'll do better. But if you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and put your feet on the floor, you win. Not the whole day, just that moment. And that's all this rule is about, winning moments. Here's another example. You're at work. You have an idea, you want to speak up. Your heart speeds up. Your brain says, what if I sound stupid? That's fear talking. So you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you speak. Was it perfect? Doesn't matter. What matters is you acted before fear locked you down. Over time, those small moments stack up. This rule also works with habits. Let's say you want to work out. Don't think about the full workout. Don't think about motivation. Count. Stand up. Put on your shoes. That's the move. Mel is very clear about this. The rule is not about finishing. It's about starting. Starting is what your brain resists most. Once you start, momentum takes over. Now here's something important. You don't use this rule for everything. You use it when instinct tells you to act, but fear tries to stop you. That instinct is your inner wisdom, your future self speaking. The rule helps you honor that instinct before doubt kills it. And this is why the rule is so powerful. It's simple, it's fast, and it works in real life, not just in theory. You're not changing who you are, you're changing how fast you move, and that changes everything. Point 3. Confidence comes after action. Now let's talk about confidence, because this is where most people get stuck. Almost everyone says the same thing. I'll do it when I feel confident. But here's the truth. Mel Robbins makes very clear. Confidence is not the starting point. Confidence is the result. You don't feel confident, then act. You act first, and confidence shows up later. Your brain has tricked you into waiting. Think about learning to ride a bike. You were not confident. You were scared. You probably fell, but you still got on the bike. And after trying again and again, confidence slowly showed up. Not before. The same rule applies to every adult situation: job, health, money, relationships, everything. Here's a very real example. Imagine you want to start going to the gym. Day 1. You don't feel confident. You feel awkward. You think everyone is watching you. Your brain says, let's go when we're more confident. That day never comes. Now imagine this instead. You wake up. You feel resistance. You count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You get dressed and walk out the door. That's it. You didn't feel confident. You just moved. After a week of showing up, something changes. You start thinking, okay, I can do this. That's confidence being built. After action. Another example. You want to post content online. Your brain says, what if people judge me? What if nobody likes it? What if I fail? So you wait. Days pass, weeks pass. Confidence never arrives. Now apply the rule. You open your phone. You feel the urge to post. Fear kicks in. You count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you hit post. Was it perfect? No. But something powerful happened. You kept a promise to yourself. And that's how confidence is actually created, because confidence is not a feeling. It's a memory of action. And every time you don't act, your brain records something else. You don't trust myself. That's why confidence drops. The 5-second rule flips this pattern. It gives you a simple way to prove to yourself, I show up, even when it's hard. And slowly, quietly, confidence becomes your default. Not because fear disappeared, but because you stopped obeying it. You still feel fear, but you move anyway. And that's how fear stops running your life. You stop asking, do I feel confident? And start asking, will I move anyway? That's the shift. That's where real confidence comes from. Point 4. Fear doesn't go away. Fear doesn't go away. Let's clear that lie first. People think confident people are fearless. They're not. They just don't listen to fear. Fear is automatic. It shows up before logic, before confidence, before motivation. Your heart beats faster. Your stomach tightens. Your brain starts creating worst-case scenarios. That's normal. The problem is not fear. The problem is obeying it. Most people feel fear and immediately stop. They sit back. They wait. They overthink. And fear grows. Here's the truth. Fear gets stronger when you pause. Fear gets weaker when you move. That's why the 5-second rule works so well with anxiety. The moment fear shows up, you don't analyze it. You don't fight it. You don't try to calm it down. You move. Think about this. You're about to make a phone call you've been avoiding. Your brain says, what if this goes wrong? Your anxiety spikes. If you wait, your brain adds more fear, more excuses, more reasons not to do it. But if you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and press call, fear doesn't disappear, but it loses control. Another example, you're standing outside a room, meeting, interview, presentation. Your hand is on the door. Your brain says, don't go in. That fear is trying to protect you from discomfort. Not danger, discomfort. So you count, and you open the door. That's courage. Courage is not calm. Courage is action with fear present. Every time you move while scared, your brain learns something important. This feeling is not dangerous, and anxiety slowly rewires, not through thinking, through behavior. That's why Mel says action is the antidote to fear. You don't wait to feel brave. You act, and bravery follows. Fear will always knock. The difference is you stop letting it decide. You still feel it, but you move anyway. And that's how fear stops running your life. Point 5. Stop negotiating with yourself. Be your own parent. Here's a hard truth most people don't want to hear. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a self-discipline conversation problem. Every day you negotiate with yourself. I'll start tomorrow. Just this once. I deserve a break. I'll do it later. And every time you negotiate, your brain learns something dangerous. It learns it can talk you out of your own goals. Mel Robbins says it very clearly. Your brain is like a child, and right now you're letting that child run your life. A child doesn't want to wake up early. A child doesn't want to do hard things. A child wants comfort, pleasure, and avoidance. And if you keep asking a child what it wants, the answer will almost always be no. But think about real life. You don't negotiate brushing your teeth. You don't negotiate stopping at a red light. You don't negotiate showing up to work on time. You just do it. Not because you feel like it, because it's non-negotiable. That's the shift this rule creates. The moment you feel resistance, you don't start a discussion in your head. You don't ask, do I feel like doing this? You decide this is happening, and you count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 move. No debate. Because the moment you debate, your brain will win. Let's make this real. You plan to work on something important. Your phone is nearby. Your brain says, let's just check Instagram for 2 minutes. That's negotiation. And 2 minutes becomes 30. Now imagine a different response. You feel the urge to scroll. You catch it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 phone down. Laptop open. That's not motivation, that's leadership. Another example. You want to wake up early. Alarm rings. Your brain says, you didn't sleep well. That might be true, but it's irrelevant. You don't negotiate facts. You act on decisions. So you count. You sit up, feet on the floor. That one move changes the entire day. Here's what's powerful about this. Every time you stop negotiating, you send a message to your brain. I mean what I say. And trust builds. Self-trust is everything. Most people don't trust themselves because they've broken promises to themselves for years. They plan, they promise, they quit. Again and again. The 5-second rule gives you a way out. It removes emotion from the decision. You don't rely on willpower. You rely on a system. And systems don't care how you feel. They work when you don't. Mel talks about this as becoming the parent your future self needs. Not harsh, not abusive, firm, clear, consistent. You don't yell at yourself. You don't shame yourself. You just say, we're doing this, and you move. This is how habits change. Not through intensity, through consistency, small actions, done even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it, because that's when identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries, and start seeing yourself as someone who acts. Not perfectly, not always, but reliably. And that changes everything. You stop asking, should I? And start saying, I will. That's what being your own parent really means. And that's why this rule doesn't just change behavior, it changes who you believe you are. Point 6. Small actions create massive life change. Most people think life changes with big decisions, big moves, big motivation, big moments. That's another lie. Life doesn't change in big jumps. It changes in small moments that most people ignore. One alarm you don't snooze. one call you finally make, one workout you don't skip, one time you speak up instead of staying quiet. Those moments look small, but they decide everything. Mel Robbins explains this clearly. You don't need to fix your whole life. You don't need to know the full plan. You don't need clarity about the future. You only need to act on the next right instinct. And that's where the 5-second rule becomes powerful. Because this rule is not about changing your entire life today. It's about changing this moment. Think about it. Your life is just a collection of moments. And in each moment, you either move forward or you stay where you are. Most people stay stuck not because they make bad big decisions, but because they avoid small actions. They skip the gym today. They avoid the email today. They don't start today. And days turn into years. Now flip it. You don't feel like doing it. You feel resistance, but you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you act. That action might feel tiny, but your brain records it. You followed through, and that changes identity. Here's a real example. Someone wants to be productive. They wait for the perfect routine, the perfect mindset, the perfect Monday. It never comes. Now imagine instead. They use the rule once. They open their laptop. They work for 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes doesn't change productivity, but it changes self-image. I'm someone who starts. And once that belief is formed, future actions become easier. Another example. Someone wants to be confident socially. They don't suddenly become outgoing. They just say one sentence they usually would have kept inside. That's it. That one sentence rewires something, because the brain learns through repetition, not intention. Mel talks about this as momentum. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates motivation. Motivation creates consistency, not the other way around. That's why waiting to feel inspired keeps you stuck. Inspiration is unreliable. Behavior is not. The rule works because it lowers the bar. You're not asking yourself to be amazing. You're asking yourself to move. And movement creates evidence. Evidence that you're capable. Evidence that you're changing. Evidence that you're not the same person anymore. This is how habits are actually built. Not by intensity, by repetition, small actions, done daily, especially on days you don't feel like it. Those days matter the most, because that's when identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants change, and start seeing yourself as someone who acts, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching. That's real growth. The 5-second rule doesn't ask you to be fearless. It asks you to be fast. Fast enough to move before your brain talks you out of it. And when you do that consistently, your life starts changing quietly. No big announcement. No dramatic moment. Just steady progress. One decision at a time. One action at a time. 5 seconds at a time. Point 7. One decision can change everything. By now, you already understand the power of small actions. You've seen how confidence comes after action. You've seen how fear doesn't go away, but you can move anyway. You've seen how stopping negotiation with yourself and building momentum through consistent behavior rewires your brain. You've seen that life doesn't change in huge leaps, but in tiny actions stacked over time. Now let's take this to the next level. One decision, one single moment of action can literally change the trajectory of your entire life. Sounds dramatic, right? But that's exactly what Mel Robbins discovered, and what thousands of people have experienced when they applied this rule. Here's the reality. Every day we are making hundreds of decisions. Most of them are automatic, brushing teeth, making coffee, scrolling Instagram. But there are a few moments in every day that actually define who we become. They are the moments when your brain screams, "Stay comfortable," when fear shows up, when your instincts tell you to move but your mind hesitates. Those are the moments that matter most. Mel calls these critical moments. the ones that make a difference between who you are today and who you could be tomorrow. And here's the key. You don't need to wait for motivation, clarity, or confidence to act in those moments. You just need to move. Let me give you a few real-life examples that make this crystal clear. Imagine someone sitting at their desk, staring at a career-changing opportunity. Maybe it's applying for a new job, pitching an idea, or sending that email they've been postponing for weeks. Their brain floods them with excuses. Not now. You're busy. What if they reject you? You'll never be good enough. Every second spent thinking gives fear more power. But if they stop negotiating with themselves and act immediately, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hit send, the course of their career changes. That one email could lead to an interview, a promotion, a new project, a raise, or even an entirely new path. Another example, you're in a relationship and you feel like having a tough conversation, maybe asking for more respect, expressing a need, or setting a boundary. You hesitate. Your mind says, maybe I shouldn't, or what if it turns into a fight? But you use the rule. You count backward. You speak your truth calmly and clearly. That one decision can repair a relationship, prevent resentment from building, or even help both people grow. It's uncomfortable, yes, but that discomfort is exactly where transformation happens. Or let's talk about health. You've been putting off exercise for months. You feel tired, unmotivated, maybe even embarrassed at the thought of starting over. But today, instead of waiting for the perfect moment, you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You put on your shoes and take a short walk. That one small action triggers your brain to release dopamine, reward your behavior, and starts a chain reaction. One walk leads to 3 turns into a week, and soon you've built a habit that seemed impossible a few days ago. That single decision, to start, changed your health trajectory. Mel Robbins herself experienced this on a personal level. When she was deep in depression, she felt stuck, hopeless, and powerless. Her life was literally on hold. Then she realized that even the tiniest action mattered. Standing up when her alarm went off, choosing to get dressed, deciding to talk to someone even when she didn't feel like it, each of these choices compounded into massive changes. Over time, she rebuilt her confidence, her career, her relationships, and her sense of purpose. That's the evidence of the 5-second rule. Life doesn't need one perfect moment. It needs consistent decisions to act. And here's something most people overlook. The rule doesn't just work for huge life moments. It works in the little moments too. Every time you resist scrolling social media, every time you choose to write a paragraph instead of waiting, every time you pick the healthy option instead of the easy one, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. The accumulation of these small actions builds identity, and identity is everything. Once your brain believes you are a certain kind of person, someone who acts, who keeps promises, who shows up, everything else shifts naturally. Let's take a real-world example that hits close to home for most people. You want to start a side hustle. You know what to do. You've researched. You've planned. But fear keeps stopping you. You keep telling yourself, I'll start Monday. I need more time. I don't know enough. That hesitation costs you days, weeks, months. Now apply the 5-second rule. You count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you make one small move. Open your website, write the first line of content, send the first inquiry. That single decision starts a chain reaction. Momentum begins, confidence grows, fear loses power. That one decision can literally lead to a thriving side business months later. This is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. It's never one giant leap. It's the accumulation of tiny intentional actions. But the difference between ordinary and extraordinary? One decision, taken fast, before fear has a chance to stop you. That's why the 5-second rule works so well. It's not about perfect planning, it's about speed and action. It's about refusing to wait until you feel ready. And here's the most important part. These decisions don't have to be perfect. You don't need the ideal circumstances. You just need to act. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. Over weeks, months, years, these imperfect actions accumulate into a life that looks completely different from the one you were stuck in. Think about it like this. Your life is made of moments, and moments are made of decisions. Every time you use the rule, you are deciding who you want to be. That one decision, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move, can literally save a life, rebuild a career, strengthen a relationship, improve health, and build confidence. It's a tiny moment with massive consequences. Mel Robbins summed it up perfectly. You are one decision away from a completely different life. You don't wait for motivation. You move. Imperfect action builds momentum, and momentum builds transformation. Every single day, one decision at a time, 5 seconds at a time. That's how change happens. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. And here's the ultimate truth Mel Robbins shares. You are one decision away from a completely different life. Think about it. One small choice, made fast, could change your day, your week, your year, or even your entire life. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for clarity. Stop waiting to feel ready. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. That's the rule. That's the power. That's the life hack you've been ignoring. If this video helped you even a little bit, do this one thing for me. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss life-changing content like this. Comment below and tell me, what's the one thing you'll start doing today using the 5-second rule? Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be huge. Just take that one step, 5 seconds, one action, and your life starts moving. Until next time, keep counting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move.